You know, we all tell ourselves we're honest people. Most of us would never commit perjury or slander someone in public. But then there are the small ones. The I'm fine when we're not. The resume that stretches a little. The story we reshape so we come out looking better. We treat those like they don't count. The Catholic tradition says they count more than we think. The very first lie in Scripture isn't told by a human being. It's told by Satan. You will not die, he says to Eve in Genesis chapter 3, a direct contradiction of what God had said. And Christ names him plainly in John's Gospel chapter 8, verse 44. The devil is a liar and the father of lies. There is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language. That's a striking phrase, his native language. It means every lie we tell, no matter how small, is a sentence spoken in the tongue of the enemy. We don't like hearing that, but the tradition is clear on it. St. Augustine wrote 2 entire treatises on this, on lying around 395, and against lying around 420. His position is absolute. Lying is always wrong, no exceptions. Not to save a life, not to spare feelings, not to advance the faith. He defines a lie as speech against the mind, using the gift of language to convey what you know to be false. And because God is truth itself, and we're made in his image, that gift of truthful speech is part of what makes us who we are. To lie is to deface the image of God in yourself. That's Augustine's argument, and the Church has never walked it back. St. Thomas Aquinas refines it in the Summa. He sorts lies into 3 kinds: jocose lies told for amusement, officious lies told for some useful purpose, and malicious lies told to harm. All 3 are sinful. They differ in gravity, not in kind. Aquinas agrees with Augustine that lying is intrinsically evil. Good intentions don't fix it, but he's careful to distinguish lying from silence. Not every concealment is a lie. Sometimes prudence means holding your tongue. The sin is in the false assertion, not in the decision to say nothing. Pope St. John Paul II took this deeper in Dominum et Vivificatantem. He argued that the original sin wasn't just disobedience, it was rooted in a lie about who God is. The serpent presented God as a rival, a jealous power withholding knowledge. John Paul called this the anti-truth, a falsification of God's character that made the human act of disobedience possible. Every lie since participates in that original distortion. When we lie, we're not just breaking a rule, we're reenacting the fall. And here's what the neuroscience now confirms. Researchers at University College London found through brain imaging that the amygdala, the part of the brain that fires when something feels wrong, responds strongly to the first lie. The liar feels guilty, but with repetition, that response fades. The brain adapts. Each lie gets easier and bigger. Aquinas would not have been surprised. He taught that vice, like virtue, is built through habit. Once you justify dishonesty in small things, the range of what feels acceptable expands until dishonesty becomes your settled disposition. Whoever is dishonest in a very little, Christ warns in Luke chapter 16, is dishonest also in much. Dostoevsky saw where this leads. In The Brothers Karamazov, Father Zosima warns, above all, don't lie to yourself. The man who lies to himself and listens to his own lie comes to a point that he cannot distinguish the truth within him or around him, and so loses all respect for himself and for others. That's the real danger. Not the single lie, but the habit of lying that eventually blinds you to truth altogether. The Catechism calls this a darkening of conscience. You lose the instrument you'd need to find your way back. So what do we do about it? The Catholic answer isn't just stop lying. It's the cultivation of the virtue of truthfulness, what Aquinas calls veracitas. Truthfulness is a part of justice. We owe the truth to others. But it's also the precondition for every other virtue, because without an honest account of yourself, you can't practice real humility, real courage, or real charity. And the Church gives us a place to practice radical honesty, the confessional. That's where the anti-truth of the serpent meets the mercy of Christ, where we speak without disguise and are restored. Saint Irenaeus said the glory of God is a human being fully alive. We can't be fully alive while living a lie, not even a small one. The truth will set us free, but we have to be willing to speak it first.
This is the Catholic Frequency.